So there are 3 mistakes that most consultants make when delivering on screen or stage that's costing them inquiries and opportunities. The good news is there is a simple framework that I'm going to walk you through that in 3 steps, in no more than 10 or 15 minutes, you can install these fixes inside of your next presentation on screen or stage and literally double, triple, or even 10 times the amount of interest or opportunities that you would have normally got. Our expert clients are using this exact framework to bring in 5 to 6 figures worth of opportunities, new client engagements every single month. It's simple, it's easy. Let's dive in. Here's the thing. There is a common myth in the consulting world when it comes to presentations. And that is, if I give a lot of value, I'm going to get a lot of opportunity. And I'm here to tell you that that doesn't always work out. Now, have you ever been in a situation where you are on screen, on stage? Your goal is to generate leads, inquiries, or opportunities. You deliver value. You give your best information. All your PowerPoint presentations are shiny and on point. Your worksheets are fantastic. People are nodding along. They're enjoying it. It's feeling good. It's flowing well. And you get to the end of your presentation, your final keynote, and you say, thank you so much for joining us. I hope everybody enjoyed it. And everyone's thanking you. Thank you for the great presentation. Thank you for the great presentation. And you end it, or you walk off stage and there's crickets. The applause does not meet the interest. What happened? This is a common problem that I see, that when most people get on stage and on screen, they fail to ask the audience the question that leads them to the outcome that they want. So what we've done is we've installed a little thing called the Seed to Sell framework inside of many consultants' presentations that they are now using and making sure they hit these marks. I want you to think of these like 3 marks that go into your presentation that you have to hit, that if you add these 3 marks into your presentation, you will generate double, triple, or 10 times the opportunity that you've got previously without having this system installed. Now here's the deal. If you'd like a copy of these slides, this workbook, and the cheat sheet that goes with it, just comment presentations below and I'll make sure I get that to you immediately so you can download it. And also, if you are interested, we've done a previous video on LinkedIn events, which is another powerful way that you can install LinkedIn events into your consulting business to generate more leads and more opportunities. And with the Seed to Sell framework, they fit perfectly together. So click that link in the comment below and have a watch of that as well. Let's dive in. So the Seed to Sell framework is a framework that's built around the principle of asking. Now that sounds simple, but here's the reality. Most consultants ask at the end, when people are already thinking about moving to their next meeting, going to the bathroom, going off stage, doing their next thing. It's too late. At the start of the presentation, you're dealing with risk and people being skeptical, because the reality is that most people who deliver a free presentation, the expectation is that you're going to sell me something. So the way we want to overcome that is we want to get permission. So the first stage is permission. And this has to be done in the first 5 minutes of your presentation. Go through the introduction, you can talk to them, warm the audience up. But at some point in time, you need to, within that first 5 minutes, do what we call the unhidden agenda. The unhidden agenda. Now, I named that as a joke. My first time doing this, I thought, everyone knows that I'm doing this presentation. Everyone knows that I'm going to be selling something. I felt weird about it. They felt weird about it. It was kind of like the elephant in the room. And I'm thinking, they all know I've got this hidden agenda. So what I do is just speak to the elephant in the room, which is, now, guys, I want to talk about the unhidden agenda. My goal is to help as many consultants grow their consulting business as possible. So here's what my ask is today before we move on. I want you to promise me something. The first thing is, if you listen to what I'm teaching you today and you don't enjoy it, you don't agree with it, or you just don't vibe with the way I speak or I teach, or maybe you just disagree with what I'm saying, then please don't ever do business with me. Find someone who better matches your style and who can support you in the strategies that you need. However, I also want you to promise me that if you do enjoy the strategies I'm teaching, if you do like the way I speak and you vibe with how I act and how I teach, and you can see the value in what I'm teaching, then can I make a deal with you that you will consider getting the help you need to apply strategies like this to your consulting business to help you grow faster? So is that fair? Can I invite those of you who are interested in considering going deeper and applying strategies like this into their business? Can I get the permission from you? Would it be okay if during this presentation I invite those of you who are interested to make a time to continue the conversation after the presentation finishes, because we only have a very limited time together? Would that be okay? And I pause. And I let people engage and say, yeah, no worries, sounds great. I was waiting for it, I expected it, ha ha ha. Everyone starts to become more confident. But when we say it, we have to make this a thing. It's not something we say and then keep moving on with our presentation. We punctuate it with an ask, and then we have a pause. Let people engage. Because the aim here is to set our intention from the beginning. So people know I'm here to sell something. I'm here to invite you to something. And also we use the excuse of time. That to make a transformation or to get the change you want, we can't do it in 45 minutes. I can't do it in a 10-minute video. But what I can do is take the time to get to know you, where you're at, what you need, and I can help you further. So, does you see what I mean? You see what I'm saying? So first, we want to go through and get permission and set the intention. And by the way, if you are wanting the sort of transcript and a little bit of a cheat sheet, just comment presentation below and I'll make sure my team sends you these slides and a cheat sheet that goes with it. The second phase is when you are halfway through your presentation, halfway through. So I call it like the half-time ask. The half-time ask is we need to take 10 to 15 minutes. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of time, but it goes very, very quickly. What you want to do is we need to help people understand that there is a plan. It's not about asking people to book a call. Booking a call, everyone knows what that's code for. That's you're going to sell me something. So we want to invite people to map out a plan based on the strategy that you're teaching. So the way we do it is that we're halfway through the presentation. I'm going to wrap that part of the presentation in a case study. So we're going to talk about a client that's got a great result. We're going to talk about a time where you've struggled and got a great result. We're going to talk about how one of the strategies or the strategy you're talking about was applied to yourself or a client's business, got a great result, and then we're going to link it to the plan. And the plan is, if you are interested in getting help just like me, or if you're interested in learning a little bit more about this, remember at the start how I asked for those of you who are interested, I would invite you to make a time so we can continue the conversation after the event. Does everyone remember that? Yes? Yes, great. What I'd like to do is take the time now to help to put my link in the calendar so you can make a time to continue this conversation and have a chat, right? Here's what we're going to do though. So I'd put the link in, or I'd have a QR code up on the screen, or I get people to be able to book in. I say the goal of the call is to understand your unique situation better. I want to understand where you're at and where you want to go. I also want to understand where the gaps are. I want to know where your offer isn't quite as tuned as it could be and where there's friction. I want to understand where your marketing is letting you down and why leads aren't flowing in as quickly as they could. And we're going to explore things like LinkedIn together and how you're using that to grow a healthy opportunity pipeline. I then also want to understand how you're converting, how many people that you're able to get in, and how many clients move up and continue paying you on a retainer basis. And we're going to look at some goals that you have around your business. That's going to take a little bit of time. So for those of you who'd be interested in spending a little bit of time together to understand where you're at and what you need, and I can kind of put my eyes over your business from an outside perspective, if you'd find value in that, click the link and book a 20-minute plan, and let's spend some more time together. Would that be okay, everyone? Yep, great. Well, I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes now to click that link and book in, and when you've booked in, just say done so I know you've done it. Okay? Take a couple of minutes and go. And give people time to pause. Pause. Remember, you can't ask someone to do something and then keep going. You'll lose them, right? They'll just get distracted. And the goal here, people think, is, well, there is tension. And the tension happens in the pause. What I find here is tension is the precursor to action. Tension is the precursor to action. The reason why you want to talk is because you're feeling awkward. So you talk and you let the tension go and the action goes with it. Pause, hold the space, let the tension stay, and people will take the action. And then you can start saying, how did you go, Mary? How did you go, Bob? Who's booked a time yet, right? So if you want someone to do something, give them enough time to do it. Don't say it, ask it, and then move on. This goal here, if we look at the plan where we're at with the plan, it's about giving people an invitation, right? And enough time to act. But remember, we want to wrap it in a case study because we want to tell a story. So we're not feeling like we're asking out of nowhere. We're linking it to something that gets people emotionally engaged before we get them to take a logical action. The next part of it is within the next 10 minutes, right? Because ultimately there's this point in your presentation, we call it the transition, where you're going to move into the final part of your presentation, kind of like that last 10 minutes. And this is where you want people, you think of it like you want them to become really solution aware. You want to help them become aware of the solution, which is to map out a plan with you, if it is to book a call. Obviously, if it's selling a product straight from stage, there is a slightly different way to do this, but most people want to book opportunities off the back of their presentations. And so what you know is the next and the final phase is what we call the two paths. And the two paths is a powerful transition because what it does is it says to your audience, hey, right now, you're in one of two places. What you've heard and what you've listened to, you've enjoyed, but you're just here for the information. Right? You just want the information because you're just interested in understanding what's possible and what might be possible. You're just exploring. If that's you, then I hope you've had a great presentation. And I'd love your thoughts and feedback after. However, if you're the type of person who understands that information alone won't save you and you're committed to taking some level of action with the information you have and actually exploring the opportunities deeper, then again, I'm going to give you a couple of moments now to ask any questions you have, but also book a time so we can map out a plan. So I can continue the conversation after this and keep you moving forward. Would that be okay? Who's ready? Who's already booked a time and who would like to book a time now? Who's ready? Right? And you would ask the question, who's ready? And you give people time. And this part here, as I said, it's all about interested versus committed, right? Interested versus committed. If you're interested, you just want info. If you're committed, you want implementation, right? You're wanting to do something with it. And this is so important because, when I think about the place that people are often in, we get people to a point where we ask and then we move on. Again, remember, tension's key. What you can do at the end is make sure that you ask any questions and then say, great question, you answer it a little bit and you say, hey, look, just just based on time, let's continue that conversation, book a time to have a chat. Let's have a chat about that further if you're open to that. And you use the Q&A part of your presentation to link to action. Rather than try to solve everyone's problems on a 45-minute presentation, it's not designed to solve problems. Your presentation is designed to help people become aware of them. Right? So then the next thing is if you want to find the solution, we need to discuss that further. So I hope that you understand like the power of this framework, the Seed to Sell framework, and how installing these 3 simple phases over every presentation that you run, whether it's on screen or stage, can help you maximize the opportunity available in the audience that you have. If you are interested, comment presentation below. I'll get the slides sent to you. I'll also get a cheat sheet sent so you can follow along and help design out the Seed to Sell framework over your next presentation. Make sure you comment below if you've loved it, subscribe if you haven't already, and would always love your feedback. In the meantime, I hope you found this valuable. Go crush and make your next event profitable. Take care. Bye for now.